Welcome to Widowed by 30. We're your hosts, Katey and Taylor. We're here to provide raw truth, guidance, and support to those who may be walking a similar path as ours.
Or even those who have no idea what it's like to lose a spouse. So stick around, grab a glass of wine, and hang out as we dive into all things widowhood.
Well, hello everyone. We are back. A different atmosphere than typically before. It has been a struggle for us to get our schedules to align. For those that don't know, I live in Louisiana and Taylor lives in Texas. And with it being summer and all of our travels and just life in general, we've kind of, and just other things going on in life, it's been hard for me to make it back and forth to Texas, for us to do like our in-person podcast that we've done in the past. And so we switched it up today, and we're going to see how this goes. And moving forward, this might just kind of be the way we go about it.
Definitely
and for
let
those,
us know your feedback.
yes. And for those just listening on Apple or Spotify, this won't affect you at all. This is more so for the ones who watch us on YouTube. And for those listening on Spotify and Apple, we are doing like a Zoom audio call, video call, whatever, instead of our in-person meeting. So, but yes, please send us whatever feedback, if, I don't know, whatever you have to think about this new atmosphere.
We value y'all's opinion. And so if we need to, alternate going, me driving to Louisiana, like whatever it is, we can make it work if that's what you guys prefer. But this just kind of seems like the more realistic, easy way to do it. And you guys can still watch without like us being face to face.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like, when we went into this idea of starting the podcast, we had these big expectations and hopes and dreams, but it's like the reality of it is we still have responsibilities, and
But you know what? People do this all the time. A lot of podcasts, like they do it all throughout the world. So
exactly.
And they do stuff like this. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It's it was just one of those things, like for me personally, or like that I went back and forth with, was I was like stressing myself out about traveling and being there in person for us to do those recordings. And it's like, that is so unnecessary.
Well, yeah, this is supposed to be like a stress relief, like really
exactly, not a stress adder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think that makes sense.
It doesn't, but I think everyone understands where we're going with that. So we just wanted to kind of update y'all on that. But yes, please give us any feedback y'all may have about this new setup we got going on. But
to be honest, it is super expensive to have people edit your podcast too. Let's just say that, because
we are single.
We are single parents, and we gotta pay bills. And like, unfortunately, even though we want to be able to edit and make it beautiful and perfect, like that's just not in the cards for us right now. So
yeah, no, it's not until maybe later on down the road when that's an option. I think just like it's a financially smart decision for us to just go the cheaper route.
Yeah. But that's it. That's all we wanted to update y'all on.
Yep. But as far as life,
today's podcast,
and yes, as far as life and today's podcast, it's just kind of about the updates of that. We're gonna kind of circle back on our last episode of Happiness Guilt, where we were both about to go on trips, and we'll talk about that and maybe like a handful of life updates, and it'll be kind of a, I guess, simple, short. I'm not even going to say short because I know we get so sidetracked and we ramble on, but a simple, short, and sweet episode. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive in.
All right. So how was your trip to not Mexico? You went to Dominican Republic, Punta Cana.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
That's where you went. Okay. So first off, it was a complete shit show getting there.
Oh
we
shit.
we went with United, and they, I mean, I know all airlines are crazy right now, but it took us 4 hours to, like, we had been there since like 8 a.m. and we were supposed to leave like 11 something. We were delayed until like 2:33, and thank goodness we were on we were like in the airport, because on the way back from the trip we had a 4 hour delay, and they ended up, we were on the plane. Like, they had to, it was raining, I guess, in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And so they took us to Austin, and they like landed there, and we had to sit on the plane for 4 fucking hours. Like, it was hot. I had like a full on panic attack, and they barely gave us any water. Like, I was like, man, maybe I should just start drinking. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, it was crazy. But we like didn't make it home until like 1 a.m.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, I think we landed at like 11, but by the time we got home, it was like close to 1 a.m. It was crazy. But the actual trip itself, it was a lot of fun. I went with a really good group of people. I got to catch up with people that I haven't seen in a very long time, and kind of like, rebond in that aspect. There was one specific person that was there that Clayton like adored. He was like, "Oh, Justin? Oh, Justin's coming!" Like, he was like fangirling over him. He used to love him, and I used
A
to like,
bromance.
yeah, I was like, "Stop, what?" But it was good to kind of catch up with him, and we kind of worked some stuff out, so that we had in the past, and we got to start fresh, and which was nice because I was able to kind of gain a friendship with him again. And then just the group of people that we had were so much fun. Like, I definitely had my days where, or I guess hours of the day, where I was like, damn, like, I'm one of the only people that are here without their spouses. Like, this fucking sucks. But my friends did a really good job of making me feel so included that I didn't feel alone. And like, I thank God for that, because I was nervous. I was really nervous. But I mean, I wasn't like, they didn't do anything without like, hey, let's go do this. Hey, like, they could have easily been like, all right, well, we're gonna go do this, because they're all couples, and they're like, oh no, this is a group thing, like, we're all doing it. And so I think the fact that I went with a group of people that understood my situation and knew how nervous I was going, like, they just handled it so well for me, and they made it a lot more enjoyable than like not. Like, of course, when I would go to bed, I was like, fuck, I kind of miss Clayton. But like, just being out in like nature, the beach, like stuff like that, like these are things that Clayton and I had always talked about doing, and we never got to. So I just like, I kind of savored all of that a little bit more intensely than I would have in the past, because that's like, you don't know when your last day is going to be. And I just like kind of wanted that, like, that time to kind of reflect. And like, I'm looking out at the beautiful beach, the water was blue, and like, all I could think of was like, Clayton's here, like, he's with me, I know he is, and even though it made me sad, I was happy. So that's just kind of, I mean, the trip was good overall. I can't complain. I'm very, like I said, I was very blessed with how things kind of unfolded, and I wish he would have been there, but I mean, I know he's with me all the time, so I just kind of have to go with that.
Yeah, that's definitely like the truth of it all, because excuse me, even like when we went also on ours, it was just that like those little signs, and I think we've talked about them in previous episodes before, like that you just get, and you know it's them giving you
Yeah.
that sign, and just to bring you that peace and comfort of like, this is okay.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. It was, for it being like my first trip, actual trip away, I think that it went a lot better than I was expecting it to.
Yeah.
So, but you went right after me. So how was that? I feel like we like literally missed each other by like
a day, I know, in the airports.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a lot in a way. Kind of, I don't know. I didn't know how it would go, because leading up to that trip, and I know like in our first episode I had talked about how Josh had started a business, and in the trucking industry, and he had a business partner, and I know you saw I had posted about it, but he had a business partner, Kirk, and the week before our trip, Kirk was also killed in a trucking accident.
That's heartbreaking.
It was a lot, it was definitely very triggering for me, to just get that news. And it's like I relived Josh's accident all over again. And I'm, and just that struggle of like, here are these two guys who were just doing something to provide for their families, and to, they've worked in the industry for so long, and they just wanted to do something different, well, the same, but to run it differently than a lot of those bigger companies. And then it's like, poof, they're both gone. So anyway, leading up to us going to Colorado, like, it was just a lot, because I was already struggling a lot, with that whole aspect of Kirk also passing away. But we went to Colorado for a week, and it was good. It was definitely, how do I put this? Like, in Colorado, I was in Colorado with Josh. Like, everything about our memories of living in Colorado are him, Maddie, and myself.
Yeah.
Living in Louisiana, like, I grew up in Louisiana, so it's like I have memories here without him. Going to Texas, like, that's where we met. That's where we lived before going to Colorado. So, but like, I have memories in Texas without him. But Colorado,
Was y'all
it's
as
us.
a family? Yeah.
Like, everywhere we went, everyone we talked to, like, just everything there. It's like I constantly had him in my mind, and not that I don't constantly have him in my mind, but it was on a whole different level, and it was just like a flood and flashback of so many amazing memories that we shared over there. And so I think that was definitely the hardest part about it. And then, just hanging out with all of our people, we had so much fun just being around them. And it was weird.
Question real quick. Did you end up icing everybody?
Not everybody, but I did ice the most important person, which was Robert. So at his 40th birthday party, and he took it like a champ. And so it was definitely, and I have it on video, and it was perfect. It was good. He wanted to ice me, but Jenna, his wife, she wouldn't let him. So I was like, I mean, it's fine. I'll take the consequences that come with it.
I'll take one for the team. It's fine.
Exactly.
Josh would have probably did it to you too.
Yes. Well, and then Jenna iced Dustin, which is our friend Sammy, her husband. And they're the ones I actually stayed with while we were there. But it was good. People got iced. I did not, so that's all that mattered. But
Okay.
it was
Anyway, sorry.
yeah,
Sorry to
no, you're
interrupt.
good. You're good. But it was I don't know, it was weird because it's like it's only been, let's see, May, June. It's only been
4 months.
14 months since we moved from Colorado. So a little over a year. And it was like being there, it felt like we never left. But then in the same sense, like everything felt so foreign where it was like it didn't make sense in a way. And a lot of that I think had to do with when we were like all together hanging out, you know, just like you. It was a bunch of couples. And so it was like in those moments where I just had the thought process of, okay, like it's almost 5 o'clock. He's on his way home from work, you know, just like reliving what our day-to-day life was like when we were
What
there.
normalcy was. Yeah.
Yes. And so like that part of it was definitely not my favorite.
Yeah.
Or being there and hanging out at Jenna's house and thinking, okay, well, like it's dinner time, got to go home and cook dinner. And I'm like, oh, wait, I don't live here anymore. Like, I don't have to cook dinner. People are cooking dinner for me while I'm here.
Right.
But just,
My cat just like walked right. Okay.
But it was good. I mean, we did a girls' night one night while I was there, and that was probably my favorite part of the whole trip.
Yeah.
We went out to dinner and had drinks, and then went back to Jenna and Robert's house afterwards and sat out on the front porch and just laughed and cried and thought we had the cops called on us, and but it wasn't us.
Oh, that's good.
But I mean, it was good. Just it definitely resurfaced a lot of emotions of it all, and you know, just missing him.
But overall, like, how was your, I guess, like, how was your happiness guilt? Like, how did that influence that trip? You know, what were your thoughts on that? Because I definitely thought about it, and
Oh yeah.
I was like, part of me was like, I like I've said in the past in part one, you know, I feel like I shouldn't be happy, but as unfortunately, like we're still here, we have a life to live, and it's not moving on, but it's like we kind of have to figure out our new normal, and it's okay to be smiling and happy and laughing because you know that he would be right there with you, like doing it if he was still here. And I don't think, and he told me before he died, like he did not want me to stop living and to stop, you know, doing what I was doing. He wanted me to live more because the last 2 years of his life, like we lived at the doctor. You know, I
Right.
missed out on a lot of stuff that I had with my family and my friends because I did like we didn't want to risk, you know, him getting sick or like
Right.
whatever it was. Like he just wasn't in a good space to go. And so there was like a 2 year gap. I mean, really the last year, but he got the brain tumor back to back. And so, you know, it was like 2 years of our life and then having a newborn with River, you know, and just like all these different factors that made it to where we couldn't live.
Right.
And now I am. And I like, as time has gone on, I mean, because I'm 7 months in, almost about 7.5 months at this point, and I feel like every day I feel a little less guilty.
Yeah.
Personally.
I think I'm still, I don't know, and it's hard to pinpoint if it's me feeling guilty or if it's just me being upset that he's not there. You know, like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
things,
that's true.
yeah. I mean, there's things that, you know, like at Robert's birthday party, they had cornhole and like it's usually couples against couples. And like, as soon as they started playing, I was like, well, shit, like, I don't have anybody to play with. Like, my partner is not here.
But that's not a guilt thing. That's more of like an
No,
everything.
but it was, so I guess I was getting at on that one is one of the couples, his wife ended up leaving early. She had somewhere to be, but ended up coming back later on. And so he was like, want to partner up? So we partnered up, and we won, and we got first place. Woo, yay us. Shout out to Scott. And but it was like, in that moment when we won, that I feel in that moment I had that happiness guilt.
Mhm.
But was it because like I won with somebody else, or was it because I was happy I won? You know, like it's
Yeah.
there's so many things
Yeah.
that run through your mind, and not
Scenarios
even
and
in a cornhole tournament, but in just your
Yeah.
day-to-day things.
Well, because it's something that you used to do with him. So it's like
Yeah.
that was y'all like one of the
I
many
know.
things
I'm
that
like,
y'all did.
I'm cheating on him right now.
Right? I still feel like that, like even like my guy friends, you know, and I'm just like, I don't think I can talk to you. You know, like it's
Right.
just like a weird like I'm like I'm not being disrespectful, but like you just feel because like that was your husband. You know, you
Right.
made a vow, and like even though like, you know, we lived out our vows, it still feels like because we're still here that we still owe them that.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
You know, but like that's kind of like where I think a lot of widows or widowers, they don't know how to like separate that.
Separate. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I couldn't even give advice on that, because it's like, I don't think, I know I'm not there yet. And
Oh
will I
yeah,
ever be? I have no idea.
yeah,
But that's definitely something we'll have to keep in mind about bringing someone on here who has remarried or
yeah.
re-entered the dating scene,
I know
to
I've
talk
had people
about that.
ask me like, you know, like, so what do you like? When do you think that you're gonna? I'm like, that's literally the last thing in my mind that like I'm like dumbfounded whenever they ask me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like he hasn't been gone a year. Like my whole life still consists of like him and our children. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to
And
find me at this point. I'm trying to figure out
right.
who I am and still be a mother and still work and still do all these things that I have to do. Like a guy or redating, remarrying, like that makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
So don't fly to my DMs.
No, please. And honestly, like, one of the biggest things for me, and I may sound like an asshole, but when people ask me that question, when do you think you're going to move on? Or, you know, you need to be happy. And, you know, he would want you to do this, he would want you to do that. It pisses me off, because I'm like, one, I feel like it's so disrespectful, because it's almost like I feel like people are like, you're taking too long in this process. Like, you need to hurry up. You need to move on. You need to find somebody else. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm the at my pace, if I even
Yeah.
want to, you know,
Right.
like when you've had that person who was your person and y'all were literally perfect for each other. Like,
Yeah.
the thought of that with someone else,
It literally, yeah, it like makes you want to throw up. You're just
makes
like,
you want to throw up. It's stupid. So,
like absolutely
um,
not.
don't ask people who are widows, widowers, when they're moving on. Point blank. Like,
Point blank,
it's,
yeah.
unless they bring up the topic of conversation, like, just don't even mention it, because it's, I
And
don't know. For
honestly,
me, it's super
and that even
disrespectful.
and that even goes for like, you know, I do know other widows that, you know, their husband passed away from cancer as well, and she ended up connecting with a widower who lost his wife to cancer,
Oh
and
my
his
goodness.
was like a few years, but hers was only like 6 or 8 months or something. But they met, they clicked, and like now they're engaged. And it's like, you know, they're like to each their own. Like me, I couldn't do
Yeah.
it. But who am I to say that, you know, you can't find somebody? Maybe it's
Right.
I mean, maybe that is your second person. Like, y'all bonded together because y'all went through the exact same thing. Like, I can see that, but like, it's just not in the cards for me. And unless I'm
Yeah.
bringing that up to you and saying like, oh, I'm interested in like somebody, then shut the fuck up and don't mention it. Like,
Yeah.
point blank. Like, give us some, because like that's just, it's kind of like it's not even a disrespect to us. It's a disrespect to Clayton and Josh.
Our husbands. Yes.
Right.
And
So
I don't know. I
that's
think
off
what
topic,
pisses me
guys,
off,
but
yeah, way off topic. But one more thing on that, it's like the ones who always ask you those questions are the ones you would never expect you to ask those questions.
yeah.
And I think that's where I struggle the most with it is I'm like, did this person really say this to me? Like, of all the people that could have asked me or said this, I would expect a complete stranger or someone who doesn't really know me to mention that.
Or Josh and Clayton. Like, you know, like most of the people that do ask those questions are that were there for the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I can see that.
But
anyway.
So yes, I mean, in regards to the trip in Colorado, I mean, there was definitely moments where I felt guilty for being happy. And I given it thoughts, and I think a lot of those feelings and why I felt like that is because I was with our friends.
Yeah.
And so that struggle of having fun and laughing and doing things and making memories, I had that guilty, gut wrenching feeling about it because it's like he's missing out. But at the
Right.
same time, he wasn't, you know. And I
Right.
know I've mentioned before about how, like, our wedding song has played. And I'm like, I know it's you. I know it's a sign.
Yeah.
But it never played. But I was walking past, I don't remember if we were at Jenna's house or Sammy's house, but I was walking past their, I'm going to say it and she's going to go off, but their Alexa. And mine's about to say something. And they had like, I don't know, on the screen, it was something about like music. You should listen to this or whatever. And I turned and looked and it was our wedding song. Like it wasn't playing, but it was like a
That gave me
suggestion.
goosebumps.
I know. So it's like, it was those little signs where
Yeah.
like it was fine, you know, when I'd have those moments and I'd feel a certain type of way, you know, or starting to feel down, you know, I always felt like he gave me that little nudge, like, you're
Right.
good, babe, you got this. So
Yeah. And like one thing I do want to add on my part is because like obviously I do have a few more months on you. Not many, but I have 3 more months, 4 more months, three, something like that. I'm 7 months in.
and I'll be 5. So you're almost at 8. And so
Mhm.
3. Yep.
Okay. So we're 3 months apart, and obviously like everybody goes at different paces and stuff, but I will say after this trip and then just kind of the things that I've kind of focused on doing for myself and like going with friends and doing things, I do feel less guilty than I did 3 weeks ago from the last time we had this record, we did this podcast because I was like really struggling with that one. And I just kind of, I don't know if he just kind of gave me peace about it or what exactly happened, or I just finally came to the realization of like, I do not like, I can't live like this because then I don't want to live. And that's
Right.
not an option. Like I
Right.
have to figure out who I am and I have to go out and I have to do things with my friends to keep me sane enough to still like work and be a mom and do all these different things I have to do. And so like my friends who invited me on the Dominican trip, like they do date nights every week and they invite me every single week just because they're like they want to include me. And I've kind of made it like okay, well I'm third wheeling, but like I'm coming to date night. It's like it's good for me because I'm
Right.
surrounding myself with people. It's not just me and the kids all the time. I like, you have to do that. You have to be able to have adult time or just you time in
Mhm.
general to kind of not kill somebody. So, like, my my patience and all of that, like, I have a lot to work on, especially having
Yeah.
2 toddlers. So it's been very good for me. I obviously still miss a lot of, like, day-to-day things with Clayton and things like that,
Oh,
but
of course.
I am excited more about doing things. So I
Good.
hope eventually that you kinda get to that point too.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe it'll take some time, maybe it'll happen tomorrow. I'm just I don't know, and it's like even so Maddie and I have another trip planned at the beginning of August, and that one, I don't know, I feel like every trip's gonna be hard, like the Colorado trip, it was like that was our home for 7 years. And
Right.
then our trip we're going to in Florida at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of August, like we took that trip as a family every year. So it was me, Josh, and Maddie. And we go to the same place and we do the same
Yeah.
things. So I know even that one, and I wasn't going to go,
I think
but
it's different because I was thinking, like, as you were talking, it made me think, like, I think that I'm okay because I'm doing things that we didn't do as a family or we didn't do
mhm,
together because we
mhm,
never had the opportunity to. I think that the second that I go to his land in Buffalo, like, I'm going to lose my shit. And I think that's part of the reason why I haven't gone is because,
yeah,
like, that was his favorite place in the entire world. And, like, I know if I go that I have to allow all of those feelings. And I don't think I'm ready for that.
right,
Like, I want to take the kids to Disney, like, do Kalahari, like, things like that. And that's gonna suck because it's a family thing that he's missing out
right,
on.
right,
It's
yeah,
not it's not like a Mexico or Dominican Republic trip where, like, we could have went maybe one day, but, like, we never did. My
did,
mom was
right.
to like, my mom was to go to, I don't know if you've ever listened to, like, Creed or
Mhm.
anything. Okay, so Creed was my stepdad's favorite, like, favorite band, and he passed away when I was 7, and so, like, he was just one of those or those were one of those bands that we just, like, loved, like, growing up, listened to it all the time. Well, they're having a reunion.
I was about to say, I thought I read something they were doing
Yeah,
like a reunion tour, like on a
on a
cruise ship
cruise.
or yes.
Yes. And so my mom is like, "Oh my gosh, we should go," and I'm like, "That sounds so much fun." I would love to do that because I do love them, but I haven't been on a cruise since being with Clayton, and so, like, I
Mhm.
don't know if putting those 2 together is
Yeah,
gonna break me or I'm gonna be okay enough to, like, really enjoy it.
right,
So I think that's a huge difference is, like, the things that
right.
you've done with them or you planned on doing as a family, that's gonna hit you in the gut a million times harder than
Oh yeah,
something that you never in a million years thought that you were gonna actually do, right?
right. I
So I think
know.
for me, that's the difference.
Right. Yeah. And you know, I wasn't even going to do this trip, but then Maddie was like, "We're still going to Florida, right?" And I was like, "Okay, yes, we're still going."
Yeah.
And then, at the end of the month, and I think I've mentioned this before also, like I'm doing my birthday trip and Josh's birthday's the 17th, mine's the 18th, and we were supposed to go to Napa for our birthdays because I'm gonna be 30. And, now I'm taking that trip with like 9 of my best sisters, girlfriends,
Yeah.
family, friends, whatever you want to call it. And it's like even that one is gonna suck because it's like
Yeah.
the whole time I'm gonna be thinking, well,
This was
if
our
he were
trip. Like,
here,
for
this was our
mhm.
trip, so it's like I had that trip at the beginning of summer with my brother and sister-in-law that was totally spontaneous, like last minute, hey, we're going, you should come. And it was
Yeah.
great. But it was like also at that point, I was only 3 months in on the process. And like I had that happiness guilt with it
Yeah.
because I was having fun
Uh-oh, I
and I
froze.
felt, uh oh,
I froze. I would look like that. How do we? I'm
Try
gonna
turning
turn
it.
off my. Yeah. hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Malfunction. Okay.
We can edit that part out, or we can keep it.
Yeah, I don't care.
But
Y'all get
you
the
know,
raw
it's
truth and all of this.
all of this, everything, random faces and not. But I don't know. I mean, it's like I feel like right now, all of these trips that are going on and that are planned, there's so many relations there with
Right.
Josh. That other than the first trip of the summer going to Florida with my brother and sister-in-law, like I haven't had another one like to just be, I guess, and I've really been thinking about taking like a solo trip by myself, finding a cute Airbnb somewhere, or I don't know, like just to be, just to have
Mhm.
a night or
If you want,
two.
if you want to cry, cry. If you want to laugh and
Right.
watch videos of you guys, cool. Like to just
Exactly.
have time to yourself. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's something I've been thinking about. When do I have time to do it? I don't even know. Next summer, maybe. Who knows?
I know you are so busy.
There's just so much.
Like I'm busy, but you're busy.
Yes. Between like all of our travels and
Yeah.
things
Maybe
going
things will
on,
die
and then
down.
I'm hoping, there's a lot of personal things I'm dealing with
Right.
right now that are, and about them, but
Yeah.
um and they're just time consuming and stressful because like I don't have any expertise in any of this, but it's
Right.
stuff that has to get taken care of, and I'm the one who has to take care of it, unfortunately and
Yeah, but that's
unwillingly.
like your focus and like priority at this time.
It is, because
But
I'm like, the
it'll
sooner I
shift,
get
like,
that done and over with, the sooner I can feel normal again, I guess.
yeah.
Not even, you can't even call it normal because normal isn't normal anymore, but
Yeah.
I can get back to focus on my grieving process, because I really
Right.
feel like the last 2.5, 3 weeks have just been kind of like a blur because
That's how I felt the entire 6 months, like, or yeah, 6
yes,
months because I was working nonstop.
right.
And I find like when May hit, because I had so many things of his, like, the day or May 10th was the day that we found out that he had 8 months to live. We bought our house in May. Our anniversary was in May. Like there was just his what was it, 5 months was in May. Like
Yeah, it's
all of
just
these
like
different
all
things.
of these.
And it hit me. And I mean, I was in a rut from like May, June, and then like July, I kind of like started to feel a little bit like
Mhm.
myself again. But those entire 5 months, I was checked out. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
how I survived. I really don't.
right. And that's honestly how I'm
And I don't
feeling right
remember it.
now. Right. One, it's like, those sayings where it's like, I was on my way home from work and I can't remember even like getting in the car and driving home. Like, I'm literally on like
Mm-hmm.
autopilot, like
Yep.
just wake up and this is my checklist, do,
Yep.
and then go to sleep. And it's like a repeat all over
Yeah.
again, where, and it's even to the point where like my gym time has been like, that's how busy I've been. Like the gym is my life and that's like my outlet for everything. And even that has been like kind of put on the back burner because I've had so much shit going on. And like I hate that because
Yeah.
I hate feeling like I'm feeling, but it's like, and sure, could I wake up a little bit earlier to make time to go to the
No,
gym? No, because when I'm
I
not sleeping
wouldn't.
at night, I'm gonna sleep as long as I possibly can, So
I
it's
would.
just
Yeah. I
like,
mean, I'm up till 3 a.m. every night, no matter what. Like, it just, I can take melatonin, I can take like whatever, and I'm still going to be awake. And
yeah,
that's just part of grief.
right. Yeah, most definitely. And there's just there's nothing you can do about it. So I don't know. I'm hoping all of this personal stuff that's going on passes over sooner rather than later. That way I can
Yeah.
breathe and get back to focusing on myself like I was before all of this. So,
Yeah. Well, I think
other
that's all
than
I
that,
have for
I think
Happy
so
Next Deal
too.
Part 2.
Let me look at my notes real quick, make sure we're not forgetting anything.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't realize how rough I looked today.
whatever. You have like that, you have the good hair that it's like that nonchalant, like throw it up in a clip, pony, whatever, that it looks cute. Whereas when I try, I look like I got electrocuted, but which
Whatever.
also like a weird thing. So I went to Texas last Friday. Well, but yeah, last Friday. By the time y'all hear this, it'll be Wednesday. But anyway, I went to Texas last Friday for a family thing. I can't mention it yet because it hasn't been announced, but for a family thing, and ended up getting together with a couple of my best friends, and we went out dancing. So we're sitting at the bar, and the bartender, who's a friend of mine, she goes,
And a friend of mine.
a mutual friend, I hear her go, Katey, Taylor's here. And I was like, who? Like, I was so confused because one, it was so dark. And when she said Taylor, I was thinking my hair girl. And I was like, I don't see Taylor anywhere. And I don't know. There was like that big, I think it was like a Bud Light sign, and it was like shining down on your faces because you had the other girl that was with you, and y'all were like blue. So I couldn't even see. And it wasn't until you started walking around. And I was like, what the hell? And
I know,
it was
she
just
was,
so random.
She was like, Linda goes, like, I just remember looking, and she goes, point, and she goes like this. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I had no idea you were there either. So we did get to hang out and dance a little bit, and that was fun together. So we definitely took a picture. We actually posted it on our Widowed by 30 page, and then I think Katey got some really bad videos.
I did. They looked great in the moment. The next day, after I didn't have a couple beers in my system, I looked at them and I was like, oh my God, what was this? But maybe we'll save it for like a bloopers reel or something one day, because
that'll be good.
I don't know if it's going to be like post worthy for anything special.
Definitely. It was funny though. It was definitely
it
funny.
was. I know. Taylor was like, I didn't know you were here.
I was like, you bitch, you didn't even
I know. She was mad at me, but I was like, I literally, like, I think we got there, I don't know, it was like 2:30, 3 o'clock. We went and do what we had to do. Then I went out to dinner. We went out to Rowdy's, and then like literally the next morning I woke up at 8:30, and well, I was supposed to be on the road
to go out. Like, I was only going to, like, I went to dinner with my friends, and then one of the girls I was with, she was like, well, do you want to go have like a drink? And I was like, yeah, like, I'll go with you, because I knew that she didn't have her kids, and I had a babysitter for dinner and stuff. So I was like, yeah, why not? Because my babysitter had some time to make up. So I was like, sure, why not? And then like we went to Hugh and Jeff's, and then somehow like her fiance came, and
so y'all went from Hugh and Jeff's all the way down to Webster
to Rowdy's because we wanted to dance. Like I haven't, like, I love country dancing. Like, I love it.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
And so I was like, I'm down. Like, I'll go for an hour, because that was my plan, was to only go for an hour. And then we saw y'all, and then it was just like,
I know, an hour turned into a little bit longer.
but
I know. And I went to the restroom, and I came back, and I was like, where'd she go? They were like, oh, they left. I was like, damn, I didn't even get to tell her bye.
Yeah, it was real quick, because I had a moment. My damn song came on, and I was just like that song by Scotty McCreery came on in 10 more minutes, and I've done like videos of Clayton to that, and like it came on, and
it was just dancing. It was a trigger.
And yeah, it was a trigger, and I was like, I had to stop and I was like, I can't do this. And I like got off, and I was like crying.
I know.
And then I was like, where's Katey?
She's the only one who understands. I know. And you were like, I'm being a buzzkill, or you were like, I'm sorry for crying. I was like, you're fine. You're fine. I know, because I wanted to go dancing
all night. I was fine all night, and then that one
until
song,
that song.
And it just was like,
I know. I had one of those moments too. I know. It's one of those things that's like, you can't hide from it. You know,
it just hits you. Like,
it hits you. Yep.
a brick. Like,
Yeah, you can't prevent
yeah.
it. You can't, like, it's just there, and you have to deal with it as it happens.
Yeah.
So
So we did, and I felt better
Yep.
the next day. But
Yeah.
it's just one of those things.
it
So yeah,
was. But
but I think that's it for today's episode. I appreciate you guys tuning in, or we appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. This
yes,
is new for us, so I keep like looking at me and then like looking
I
at you. Like,
know.
I feel
I'm
weird.
watching you, and then I'm looking. I'm like, my eyes are crooked because I'm not looking straight
Yeah,
at the camera. But it's whatever. It's
yeah. So
whatever.
hopefully this worked well, and that we can move forward doing this. But we definitely want you guys' opinions on all of this. We're doing this for us, but we're also doing it for you guys as well.
Yeah.
So feedback is always welcome. We always respond to our messages. So shoot us a DM, whatever. And then, yeah, we'll be back next week.
We'll be
So
back
I think
next
that's
week.
it. All right. We
All
love
right.
y'all.
Love y'all.
Bye.